Hey HCDA and welcome back to Cosmoteer. After building this industrial ship last time around to get all the materials I will ever need, it is time to start turning this into a self-sufficient battlecruiser that can actually handle a fight. Because even though I've already spent quite a few hours in this game, I haven't even left the starting zone just yet. So it is time that I start working on clearing out some of these more difficult zones. However, there is a problem with that because my current ship already needs a crew of about 50, and if you look at my reputation, I'm stuck at a threshold of 55 at the moment. So if I would extend the ship right now, it would either mean it's going to be running very inefficiently, or I would have to move people around all the time. It's really annoying. If we get a little bit more reputation, we should be able to get a crew that is large enough to turn this into one giant battlecruiser that is self-sufficient, like I said at the beginning. But for now, we're just going to have to deal with this another way. But remember, I do have a second ship still that I used to clear out the zone. Well, I actually used two of these ships to clear out the zone, but I think I can do a lot better than this, but based on the lessons that I've learned along the way. So let's turn this into a ship with a little bit more firepower, a little bit more durability as well, and let's see where that ends us up. I'm going to use the mirror mode actually, because that's a very nice functionality in the game that allows you to basically split your ship in half. You can just build one half and it will automatically mirror everything you build on this side on the other side, or vice versa. So that just saves you a lot of time. It's an awesome quality of life feature. Now let's see. I am going to need some shielding to begin with, and what I want to do is build my shield something like this with overlapping shields, which will allow me to have one shield cover the other, thereby basically more than doubling the durability, because while one shield is handling all the firepower that the ships are throwing at us, the other shield can start regenerating again, and then hopefully that should allow me to keep things a little safer than before. I'm also going to need some power, of course. Let's see. Let's add in some power here in the front. Now the reason I'm putting this in the front is because I want to build a lot of defenses over here so that everything behind that is safe, at least from firepower from the front. Hopefully that should be the majority of it. And I do want to make sure my ship is agile enough to make sure that I'm also always keeping my shields to the front. In terms of weapons, I'm going to be sticking with the lasers for now. They have a pretty decent range, they don't require any ammunition. I don't want to be producing the ammunition on a smaller ship like this, so let's see, something like this maybe. I am going to need some disruptors as well. They tear me apart, so they could also tear the enemies apart. Something like this. Now, the reason I'm putting these flat is this will allow me to build some armor over here to protect these things, so they're not as easily targetable from the front. Now, the turrets themselves will be able to turn. I'm not entirely sure if this will give me enough accuracy in order to actually fire upon my enemies like I would want, but I think we should be fine given how close I've been placing them together. And of course, these turrets here will be able to cover whatever else these ones might not. Here we go, some nice little armor on front, similar to actually to the starting ship now I think of it, that is not only behind the actual shield, so it only gets hit once the shields are down, but it shouldn't also interfere too much with the firing angle of my laser blasters. Now let's see, can we add some more shields to this? I am probably going to add in some smaller ones, something like, yeah, something like this maybe. This should cover actually most of the blasters as well. The smaller version is going to be fine. I think this is just some backup shields basically. Let's add in some small power reactors to that as well. We can fit them in over here. There we go. We have 3 layers of shields now protecting my blasters, and actually the majority of the front of the ship as well. But of course the ship is not going anywhere unless we have some engines. So let's see, maybe something like this. Actually, hold on, let me remove those. I do need some more power probably for those as well. Let's see, because I was already getting pretty close to my power threshold, and I'm going to be adding quite a few boosters to this. We have the large thrusters, so let's see if I can add them in like this. Yeah, that should work fine. We want some sideways thrust as well. And we probably want some storage. Let's see, can I fit that in over here? Yeah, should be fine. Let's add in a little bit more storage, leaving some room in between for the crew to work around. But before I get distracted too much by building the rest of the ship, let's add in some engine rooms here, nicely tucked behind the defense of the shields, and then some thrusters pointed forward. Maybe something like, yeah, let's do that something like this. So they are protected by the shields, but I also have a way to get some thrust on the forward side of my ship so I can keep my distance from my enemies. So let's see, I am currently at a power production of 12 and I need 10.2, so having a little bit to spare is never a bad idea, probably. I am going to need a crew of about 70, which is just under the new limit I will get once I do like 1 or 2 more quests. That does mean that currently I don't actually have enough crew to completely man the ship, but I think it will be fine. It might not be running optimally, but it should be allowing me to complete a few more quests. Hopefully, let's find out. But what else do we need? We need some hyperjump stuff, I think. A small hyperdrive is all I have access to for the moment, but let's add in a couple of these. That puts me at about, how much? 82 efficiency. That's not perfect, but it's close enough. And then let's see, what else do I need to add in? I really want a sensor in here that just allows me to find my enemies a little sooner. We have this gap here in the middle, actually. That's very convenient for that. Probably some manipulator beams as well. Maybe put them over here, I don't know. To grab stuff and put it in our inventory. How are we doing on power? 10.4, sure. 83% hyperdrive efficiency. Actually, what we can do, not entirely sure if this is needed, but I have some space left. Let's add in some more of these hyperdrive thingies. That puts me at 100% efficiency for the foreseeable future. I do need to add in some crew quarters as well. How are we doing? 71. Well, I'm pushing the limits here. I think it's time to stop building and just add in some more crew quarters now. Something like this, I'm just using a couple of these barracks because I don't think it's needed to hyper specialize my crew just yet in a ship like this. There's a couple of crew quarters here in the back. So I added in some of these airlocks just to make sure I can get in and out of my ship, just in the back, of course. And of course, last but not least, some fire extinguisher just in case something goes wrong along the way. Speaking of which, I feel kind of naked here around the sides, so let's add in some more armor. There we go, some armor added in all around the sides as well in the back, just to make sure that my ship doesn't die from a random stray missile, because that's probably the most realistic thing that is going to kill me, because those tend to come in sometimes from the side, and now we have some protection to deal with that. Is it going to be enough? I think so. It's probably some further room for optimization, but yeah, I am pushing the limits of my ship capacity actually already, so I'm going to have to stick with what I have right now. Normally this ship would cost at least 500,000 credits, but as you can see I can now leverage my production ship that I built in the previous episode, so we can make it so and start building this awesome looking ship. I brought crew over from the Nostromo, the industrial ship, so we now have everything manned, or most of it anyway. We are still not quite up to the 70 people that we need. I also brought in some Hyperium, so we can actually charge up those engines, the hyperdrives to be exact, so we can get going to the next system. So yes, that does mean I'm currently leaving behind my industrial ship, but it's sitting in a zone next to a station where there's no enemies whatsoever, so it should be just fine sitting out here and waiting for me to return once I actually need it. I'm hoping the ship will be enough to clear out the entire Shinea zone over here, the 2 to 4 difficulty level zone, and maybe even take on some stuff in the 4 to 6, but that might be a little bit optimistic. Let's find out. I do have to say the Bismarck is slightly slower than I would ideally want, but it'll have to do for the moment. We can use these hyper jump relays to get to a new zone. It will start charging up my hyperdrives, and once this reaches 100%, we will jump to the next system. Let's see, and engage. Not all ships are ready. No, I know, I'm leaving one behind. That is just fine. Thank you, autosave, and there we go. And here we are, an entire new fresh zone to explore. Let's start with going to the actual station that I am told to go. I have a quest for that, so free credits, you know. And it will also give me a starting point for some more quests. And of course I barely started moving before encountering the first enemy, so let's see if this will be the end of this run. Well, probably not, just a level 2 ship with some cannons and things like that, so we should be just fine. Still, it'll be a nice test run to see how our ship does. This one doesn't have any shields whatsoever though, so you can see it's taking quite a beating from the get-go. There goes the first defenses. Yeah, this is not going to last very long against my ship. That said, I did take a fair amount of damage because apparently building these inside of the ship, even though I didn't get any warning that this would be the case, it's blocking the actual generations of the shields. As you can see, these ones are working just fine, but there's no shields here, even though these things are completely operational. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a slight redesign to make this work. I don't want to do too much of an overhaul, so I'm just going to take out these larger shield batteries and then replace them with probably a couple of the smaller ones, but then just stack them in between over here in the back. Here we go. I moved the large ones actually to the outside because I still wanted some of those large shields, and I replaced the inner ones with small generators. That actually means we have 4 small shield generators protecting most of the inner pieces, and then the larger ones are going to be protecting the outside of the ship, including most of the shield batteries as well. So this might be a little bit overkill, I don't know, but for the moment I'm really liking this design, and it should be super defensive like this. Oh, actually, hold on. Some of these armor protections over here are blocking the shield signal, so as you can see it's cutting off right over there. I'd rather have shields than armor in this case, so I'm going to remove these little wedges over here. There we go, the shields are now completely up and running. This is turning into a little bit of an instruction on how not to build your ship, I guess, but I'm going to leave it in anyway, because I feel it might be nice seeing the progress. Anyway, I am going to be heavily relying on these shields now to protect the front of my ship, but I have plenty of those shields, so hopefully that shouldn't be too much of trouble, even if I'm going to be encountering some disruptors. Alrighty, back in the new system, and I have a whole lot of quests waiting for me that I can accept. The problem is, however, that these are actually not going to get me any more fame, because I am already too high of a level. I'm going to clear them out anyway, because A, that gives me a lot of credits, and B, it will allow me to now see if my ship is working like intended. And here we go, we have a level 2 ship that actually does have a disruptor. It's just a level 2 ship, shouldn't be too much of a problem, I hope. I am doing quite a bit of damage to it. And yeah, I think this is working just fine now. The shields are holding out. You can see the shields are taking some damage though, but nothing that I can't regenerate in time to protect my ship. That said, it would be a lot more efficient if I could actually shoot at the enemy from these 4 guns as well, but it turns out that the auto builder took out the doors to these things. So yeah, I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm also going to make sure that I have a couple of people dedicated to the engines as well as the guns, just to make sure that they are at least trying to operate these things 24/7. Clearing out these low-level pirates very easily is of course extremely nice, but I'm going to need to take on some bases to get enough reputation to actually properly crew my ship. Oh hey look, it's a level 4 ship that I haven't really fought yet so far. Let's see if we can take that out. With all the lasers firing at it, it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. My accuracy is somewhat of an issue, but it seems like we are boosting through it pretty easily. Did I take a lot of damage? Nope, not at all. So it seems to be working like intended. So it turns out that the level 6 pirate base this quest is asking me to destroy is a lot better defended than the ones in the previous zone, even though it's the same level. There are like 4 of these level 3 ships around it, and every time I attack one of these, the other 3 ships come out and help, and that's a little bit more than I can handle right now. So let's go to plan B. I am going to jump ahead to the level 4 to 6 zone over here, hopefully getting at least one level 4 or 5 quest that will allow me to hit the 310 mark so I can actually fully crew my ship. Well, just a few steps into that new zone, I found a shipyard graveyard inside an asteroid field protected by at least 3 different ships, and they all seem to be at least level 4 or above. So yeah, this is going to be fun, but hopefully I will be able to clear out at least the couple of ships defending this. There's probably a quest attached to that. Let me see what I'm actually shooting at though. That's a lot of guns on this thing. Holy moly, but I think we should be able to take that out. Assuming you don't fly into an asteroid. What are you doing? Come on. Anyway, that should take care of that ship. Or the other ones. They are not really getting involved just yet, so that's good. And this one is going to go a little crazy, but there we go. That's one ship taken out, just a couple more to go. And there we go, level 5 pirates do actually still give me some fame. I can use that to make sure my ship's actually working optimally, and then we can take on some pirate bases to get even more reputation. Oh boy, these level 5 ships are not kidding around. There's missile launchers, a huge amount of batteries on here. Let's see if my shields are going to hold out. As you can see, ooh, these shields are taking quite a bit of damage. I am doing quite a bit of damage to that as well, so there we go. And look at that, fame a level up. Okay, this is new. I was going to this station to get myself some more crew, but it's actually under attack by pirates, and pretty badly so. Let's see if we can save this space station. This is the weirdest fight I've ever been in. First of all, I took out the first ship. The second one over here is actually stuck on the station. It's firing at the station still, and meanwhile I am firing at it. Yeah, well, it's working. I can't actually heal the station. I tried to recruit some personnel from the station while I was attacking it. That doesn't apparently work. I took quite a bit of damage myself, mostly the shield battery here. Not that weird, taking out two level 5 ships at the same time, though. But yeah, like I said, this is the weirdest fight so far. I will be winning this most likely, because yeah, this ship is not doing anything at the moment. Oh, I just got unstuck. Let's destroy it. There we go. What's interesting is there was actually so much debris around here that I can just repair my ship for free, even though I took quite a bit of damage. It's very interesting to see that the station is actually repairing itself, so it can get destroyed. It would have been destroyed if I wouldn't have interfered. But yeah, now it is back up and running. Let's see if I can actually hail it now. Yeah, there we go. And there is a lot of quests. I'm actually wondering what would have happened to these quests if I wasn't here. Would I just not have been able to do that? It's interesting. Oh look, I didn't actually realize, but I got a quest to rescue this station in particular, and I just did. So now I can get some more experience, a whole lot of reputation actually, and a pretty hefty reward on top of that. Okay, so let's see if I can take on some level 6 enemies now. This one is interesting. It has this giant gun in front of it. It's actually really cool. Not sure if it's doing much, but it's really cool. Let's take out its engine, so it can't quite keep its distance as well. Can I actually keep up with it? Barely. Oh yeah, I did get into range now, and there we go. That takes care of the engines, and that should take care of everything else. So let's take out the reactor and deal with it like that. I probably need to fire it from the side, because this is not really working like I wanted to. So asteroid going to get in the way, but we shouldn't have any issue taking this out now. Now I have a fully armed ship, or I should say a fully crewed ship. Let's see if we can take on this pirate system now. And in case you're wondering, these ion storms over here will actually damage my ship. So even though these clouds just interfere with my radar, or my sensors I should say, these clouds, well, you kind of want to stay out of, because they will damage your ship. And interestingly enough, I've actually seen some pirates that just fly through the edges of this and actually do get damaged. It makes them easier to take out, so no complaints on my side, but yeah, they do definitely damage your ship. Now what I kind of want to find out is, can I just take on this entire fleet myself now, just head on? Unlike doing the hit and run tactics from before, just shooting at it and trying to take it out. Well, that level 3 ship didn't last very long at all. Let's see if his friends are going to fare any better now. I don't think they are. But, you know, we never know. Let's see. I can just start shooting at it. Hold on, I do need to be a little bit careful about what I'm shooting about on the two, of course. Let's see, that should take care of that. Then let's retarget over here, and let's take this one out. It takes some damage over there from the side because I was flanked, but they're actually running into each other now. There we go. And that should take care of a 4th ship. I am taking quite a bit of damage, but as you can see, my main shields are still holding out. There we go. This was not the smart way of doing this, by the way. Just want to be clear about that. But yeah, it feels like I can now easily take out these platforms. They have barely any defenses to speak of anyway. Here we go. And just one left. And with that, I was able to clear out the rest of this zone as well. And actually, because we already went through this zone is partially cleared already as well. However, I do feel that there's quite a few improvements that we can make to the ship design to make it more efficient, maybe use some different weapons as well. So I'm going to do that in the next episode. If you're still here, you're awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.